Welcome to TRS Clips, where you'll find happiness through your own curiosity. That same book I was talking about in the last episode, where I bought a book on witchcraft to understand it, and this was after our episode, because I just figured that Tantra is actually a global phenomenon, and we talk about it from a Shastra perspective. But other cultures talk about it in their own ways, like Celtic culture, whatever, South American culture, shamanism, they have their own versions of rituals and yantras. There are spells in European witchcraft which are somewhat like Sammohan, where it actually involves crystals. You're supposed to take certain colored crystals, certain kind of flowers, keep the person's photo on a particular night where the phase of the moon is in a particular way. Like it's very connected to the moon, and then chant upon that. And they've given those chants are in English. It's not even Latin or any ancient language. But I think it's much more about having yantras, like those objects, and then putting emotions into it.
Right.
So I think the raw idea is the same as what you're talking about when it comes to Sammohan. I mean, largely when you're talking about Shastra-based Tantra. But it's just that because Sanatan Dharma has evolved in this land that we call the subcontinent, which was so populated for such a long period of time, that ours is way more refined and developed. Theirs is perhaps a little more raw.
Raw would not be the right word to use. I would say, it's our... so in these or other prayogas, when applications of mantras, what we have is much more vaster. Wide range of mantras are available for all things. Deities, mantras, processes. So what kind of these things are, to what degree you want to apply it to somebody. One is a mild infatuation. One is you make somebody so crazy that they can't think beyond you. All this is possible. But there is a caveat to this also. The understanding of this has to be very clear. So it depends on whom you're trying to do it on. It's not that simple. Nature is not that stupid. Just because there are mantras, so you sit and do, it will happen. No. If the person has protection, if the person is spiritually grounded, if the person has his or her own mantra practice and all that, then obviously these spells and all that smaller things, they will not work so easily.
For example, Bhairav is a protective deity. So if you're doing a Om Bhairavaya Nama for a long time, it's kind of like wearing an armor.
Right. And there are then, apart from that, if person does Kavacha recitations, Kavacha has a specific armors. Since you mentioned the term, every deity has a set of Kavachas. These are stotras which are protective in nature. So when Kavachas are done, recitations are done, then it brings about a protective aura. And it's not that simple, depending on what Kavacha is done and how intensely the individual is practicing that. It's not so easy to influence through mantras and other processes. Then there are other, just like that, there are protective measures higher and higher. There are applications also higher and higher.
Weapons that are stronger and armor that's stronger.
Sometimes people may use objects that you have used. Then it becomes very strong.
This is what Kala Jadoo is, black magic.
In a way. So Kala Jadoo is, basically just a negative application of mantra and ritual and anything. The intent is the point. The ritual itself is neither good nor bad. Tantra is giving you the processes that it is. It's your intent that will make it good or bad. How are you going to use that? Suppose in a very theoretical situation, you are some important individual in the government, suppose, and the country goes into war with somebody else. Suppose you have a great expertise in this knowledge. You do this kind of a ritual on some important individual of the other camp and find out some information from that. Is it good or bad? Who knows?
So does this happen?
I don't know. I'm just giving you a theoretical situation.
Fair. This is the practical use of prayog.
Prayog is always practical. There's nothing called theoretical prayog. So a theoretical prayog naam ka koi cheez nahi hota. Either you can do it or you cannot do it. That's it. There is no about I know this, I know that, I know that. Power by itself is application. If you have not applied power, you don't know whether you have power or not. All that is, rest is all theory. I know XYZ, I can write 10 pages, 20 pages, 100 books, meaningless. Power is application.
I think in one of our earliest podcasts we had spoken about this loosely. I'd spoken about Kara Jadoo like 1.5 years ago when we first met. Because that whole phase was like this. And now we're talking about it in a much more objective way rather than a explosive cinematic way.
So what is a prayoga? It's an application. So you pray before your exam that I pass in this exam at good marks. That's also an application. You get the good marks. Everything in the world is prayoga. Everything. The whole purpose why people came into religion in some way or the other is you have to affect reality.
Altering the fabric of reality.
Yeah. Your reality at least. Some or the other.
Yes.
And then in that, if you come with a negative intent that you want to harm somebody, harm without... So this is... we have to look at it in the context. So unfairly harm somebody and you use various techniques to do that, then that is going to cause, obviously, that is what is generally termed as sort of black magic. But the point is, these things can be done. It's there in not just tribal, it's there in all religions.
Yeah.
Every religion has it. There's not a single religion that does not have it. And both the good and the bad aspects, by the way. It's not just the bad. Okay. So when we are saying that applying something, there is a good aspect to it also. There are many good aspects of applications. That is what is when a Jyotish chart is being read and there is something, some dosha, some error is there, some needs to be done. So they recommend to you certain pujas to do or certain activities to do. That is also some kind of an application of power to change your reality.
The fact is, when you combine certain mantras with certain yantras and then certain practices, there's a release of energy and it's about what you do with that energy.
Yeah, and there you have to know exactly. So there the expertise in knowing lies in knowing that which exact deity, which exact mantra, what exact process, whether it's a homa to be done, whether it's something else to be done. That is where the expertise lies. Everything is there. The kitchen is there with all the materials. Whether you can make something fruitful or tasty out of that, that's where the capacity and competency of the individual lies.
Hey, if you enjoyed today's clip, make sure you check out all the other clips we've uploaded on this channel. You'll find a clip related to almost every single topic as long as you're willing to search for it.